I think that the key thing in packaging a movie is creating a feeling of inevitability. That's really what you have to do. How do you, whoever you're talking to at any stage of the way, whether it's a financier or distributor or an actor or a crew person, how do you make them feel that this movie is going to happen and happen in a way that they'll want to partake? That's the main question. If you have to be realistic that if you're making a film for under $1 million, under $500,000, nobody actually really expects you to get a name. That's not gonna, particularly if you're a first-time director, that's just not going to happen. Maybe if you're working in a very specific genre like horror or pornography, you'll be expected to get a name on that budget. But if you're working in anything else, I think just getting the best actors. But that starts to show how are you going to have a team that stands behind you. Be able to speak about your cinematographer, your casting director, what your process will be to find your actors. That's a key thing. What else can you do to make it feel inevitable? I'm such a big believer in image books. To try to put together something that kind of shows the feel of the film you're trying to make. There are great publishing programs online now, Lulu and iBooks and all that look entirely professional. They take some time. We tend to do 4 or 5 drafts of these now along the way. They range in length from 20 pages to about 50 pages, and we try to have pictures that help people recognize the movie. It's a conversation tool. But the nice thing about it, as opposed to like a business plan or something like that, because they're glossy and bound, because they come in an interesting shape, people don't throw them away. So when you send it to somebody, it sits on their desk for a while and they look at it and they have the chance to start to absorb the movie. And it's something that you can use to help facilitate conversation. Again, I think that anytime you're trying to get your work seen, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. So that we get 2,500 submissions and we have 4 people. You can do the math, between that. So how's it going to work? I don't respond to email submissions. Someone sends me an email about a project, I delete it. It's just too. I get too much and it's too hard. If someone wants to reach me, I tell them to resort to Luddite technology and send me a fax with their description. And frankly, it probably means you're going to have to do it 2 or 3 times. But then if it's the kind of thing that we respond to, we often will say, well, we'll look at it, but you have to fill out one of these submission forms. Technically, we try not to take anything that doesn't come from an agent or a lawyer. We violate that rule because otherwise people's work wouldn't get seen. But usually I like to start in like a small dose of something. If it's a filmmaker and I've got to see their short film, it means a lot more. If it's a short film that someone has taken the time and got it to a bunch of festivals, and I've seen that's happened, I'm going to look at it with more priority. If it's a short that's gone to festivals and won surprises, I'm going to look at it with more priority. If it's a feature film by a person who's made shorts that won some prizes, all of that is how do you build, the chain to get somebody to notice, to give you the attention that you deserve. There's definitely a hierarchy of film festivals. The reality is also probably gatekeepers there. It's hard to give your film a fair shake. Think about how do you get them to look at your film in the right way? Who are other short filmmakers who have made movies like yours that have gone to those festivals? Try to figure that out and reach out to them. They're not getting 3,600 submissions. They know how hard it was to get noticed. If they champion your film, you have that much more chance of having it get the attention it deserves. And that's always the same sort of thing. I mean, think of it in the same sort of way. What makes you want to see a movie? A friend tells you to how much they liked it. What makes you want to support a candidate or a political issue? Someone's told you something in a very heartfelt way that's made you respond. You have to build that same sort of coalition around your work to get somebody to notice it. The first thing I think you have to ask yourself is, you want to be doing this in 15 or 20 years. What are the decisions that you have to make sure that you still feel as good about it 20 years down the road that you will, as you first start out? Because the business is filled with lying, narcissistic, malcontent misanthropes, right? That's really who most anyone that, well, I was going to talk badly about agents and lawyers and film studio executives, but I swore I wouldn't anymore. So, well, there's a lot of people like that out there. And not as bad as I think the music business, but film business is still filled with it. So how are you going to survive with that? And I think it's really that question of what do you do to keep your passion alive for film or for other things. That I've had the good fortune of getting to work with virtually every director that I've wanted to work with, of getting all the movies I wanted to get made. What's the secret about that? Well, when I meet somebody or I read a script, like the first thing I say to myself is, it's going to take 5 years, 6 years to do it. How am I going to be able to get through that time? This person could be a total ass or a total asshole. How do I know that I'll want to keep working with them? I do my best to try to get that read, invest the initial time to kind of see, will I want to be working with them 6 years down the road? I look at the script. I tend to make fairly complex movies that people try to simplify every step of the way, and I keep trying to keep them complex, because I'll get bored over 6 or 7 years if they're not about something that matters to me. I try to make films that actually have something to say, because I'll get bored over 6 or 7 years if they don't have something to say. And I try to surround myself with people I really care about, who treat me the way that I want to be treated and expect to be treated the way that they want to be treated. And frankly, that goes a really long way. At the same time, truly that question, what is it that you're passionate about? Why do you want to make that movie? You've got to have that and feel it as much as like any actor that can elicit tears on the stage might feel. I feel that when I talk about my movies. Even now, I feel myself welling up, because it's damn hard in people's lives, but if you don't care about it, it's not going to happen. If you approach it along those grounds, how to be truly original, being willing to be ambitious, get to a truth of a situation, I think your films really will travel across borders. Thank you all for coming. I have to go.